Okay, we just call this case Mitchell versus Mitchell. What we got here? It says for review.
Your Honor, it's our motion for review. As the court will recall, this is the case that through their second attorney now, that the respondents have done a stellar job of avoiding my client having any visitation or parenting time whatsoever now for several years. There was a strong history of violence. The folks went to an evaluation. I think the record.
Okay, by whom against whom?
By my client against, it's stipulated there was domestic violence.
Okay.
Within the marriage about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And the court wanted them to go to a psychologist, if you recall now. And we've done recently done a 4-hour domestic violence program. We've had anger management in the past. We're willing, Your Honor, to do whatever the court requests us to do, but we'd like to.
The children are 7 and 8, and you had made note, you reviewed the file the last time we were in court.
You need to speak up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, you had reviewed the file the last time we were in court in December on how drastic the domestic violence
Yeah.
was. And the parties went to community-based intervention. The therapist recommendation, of course, the court had a copy, were actually for him to do a domestic violence perpetrator program, or a batterers intervention program. And that's much more extensive than just a 4-hour domestic violence class.
Oh, we didn't have any.
You didn't get, I have copies of those here. I apologize, I may have.
They are in the court record.
We don't get things that are filed in the court.
That's where we messed up. We didn't see it.
Okay. And not to jump out of my turn, but the issue with
When you
this,
file anything in the court record, you need to copy it to the circuit judge too, okay?
yes, we certainly will do that. And I'm not sure if we filed that, but I'll certainly make sure we do
Well, it's
that.
in the court record.
It is,
We didn't
okay.
get it.
You didn't get, okay.
I think they did.
I think the community-based interventions may have said, I'm not 100% sure how that works.
What do you want to do? Let's get down
Oh,
to the
yes, I will.
chase.
Okay, so the issue with this is,
What do you want to do?
what do I want to do? We would like,
Other than him just go away and never hear of it?
no, and I get it, I get it. So this therapist says that she's not qualified to make a recommendation.
What do you want to do?
We would like him to do an actual batterers intervention program and,
Where's one of those located?
we had thought that they could do this at the community-based intervention. She's saying that's not available now.
Look,
Mhm.
when y'all need to quieten down back there. You cannot talk in here without it keying the microphones. Thank you. Okay, now, if you come here and ask for relief,
Mhm.
you need to tell me what relief you want. Now, you thinking somebody might have something else. I mean, Mr. Cross and his client have expressed an opinion, and any kind of domestic violence is awful and horrible. It's not acceptable. But if there is a certain program that you want to suggest, then suggest it to them, and he can consult with his client to see if he's willing to go through it, and then we can get a plan
Mhm.
to try to get some visitation. Other than that, we're spinning our wheels.
Exactly. Well, we would ask that he go along with the therapist recommendation, which is this batterers intervention program. And
Where is that located?
they are throughout the state. I do know that.
I've
When I
never
had-
heard of one of them. I don't know.
I think I mean, it's a pretty intense thing. It's about a 13-week, it's a pretty intensive thing. I know last time we were here, we had called a couple of different places and given some options to them. So.
How long ago was this domestic violence?
8 years. 9.
Yeah. Have you done any research to see if he has any criminal record or anything since then?
Yes, he's had,
Okay, tell me what it is.
it was as recent as 2 years ago.
And what was that?
I believe it was,
2 DUI.
yeah, he's driving under the influence. He's had a pretty extensive past. That was another thing that the therapist also recommended for him to do something.
Okay.
To assist in his
can you
sobriety.
suggest- Can y'all step out maybe and call one of these agencies to see if they've got a program and what they'll suggest and how quickly you can get into it?
Yeah, yes.
Could you do that with a
Be
Mr.?
happy to, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Report back to the court here in a moment.
And-
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. we can do
We'll make sure that everybody tries to have a level of comfort with that, okay? Okay, thank y'all very much.
Try to find somebody on the phone.
that. Eventually.
Oh, boy.
We've had some success, but not all the way.
What keeps you in business? If everybody was in the court, I'd do without a job.
That's what I always try to tell myself, yeah.
Okay,
Your Honor, the court asked us to try to determine what sort of backward intervention classes might be available. We've made a couple of calls. We've found one in Crossville, Tennessee that is 27 weeks. My client's position is this. He'll be happy to enter into that program and complete it if that's what the court directs.
yeah.
He's already.
How much does it cost?
It's $25 a session and it's so much per sign up. It's a reasonable cost. And Crossville's closer for him. He lives in Pickett.
Oh, that's-
He's previous to that completed this domestic violence 4-hour course.
Okay, is there some place that we can do a kind of graduated visitation that they trust in being present with somebody else or city kind of works through this thing a little while and take a
We
look
would
at it?
have great flexibility, Your Honor. I
Well,
think
I'm
that's gonna be harder to deal
asking
with.
for a
We-
name and a location. Is there a
She
family
would-
member that's trusted of his?
She would want it to be, I think therapeutic, there's a
You
pending.
want what now?
She would want therapeutic.
There is severe violence and.
I understand. I'm not asking you. I'm asking you if there is a safe place with a family member of his or yours that would accept him be there for him to have some visitation.
My dad and my mom, he could do visitation with them.
Well, is that okay with you?
Anything.
See, that's a great suggestion. Now, do you take them to church on
I do,
Sundays?
yes. I do.
Okay, so Saturday would be a better day, right? Well, let's start out with, you contacting your parents, make sure they do that. Okay, and let's start out with, Saturdays from like 12 to 3. Every other weekend to start it out, okay? And your parents live here in Clinton County? Okay, I want you, to come, I don't know whether you have any limitation,
I'm
yes.
sorry. My children have not seen this man in 7 years. Do you think that we could do this in a therapeutic environment though?
Well,
Because they do not know who
okay,
he
I'm
is.
not, listen, your parents are gonna be there.
I know, but they don't know him.
No, I'm not gonna let you argue this case. I'm gonna tell you
Sorry.
something. Step back,
Okay.
just step back. What I'm gonna tell you is we're gonna see if your children are willing to do that without you telling them that they need to have to do it in a therapeutic situation, okay? You need to ask your parents. They feel safe there with your parents. If he comes there and is scheduled and they're not willing to see him, then I will have your children interviewed by someone, okay? Now, but you cannot presume that they have the level of hostility toward him that you do. And I'm not saying your hostility is not justified, okay? I'm not saying that because you were a victim, okay? I just asked you if there was a place that would be acceptable for them to visit and you gave me your parents. So we're gonna try that, okay? Now, if he needs to come in soft, you need to come in soft. And you don't need to try to talk them in or explain to them where you've been or any of that sort of stuff, okay? You know, we'll just try it. So-
And Your Honor, there is the restraining order in Tennessee, so I'm not sure if that's something.
Deal with that.
I don't know.
It's still active.
I think there is an active one, so I don't know, we would need to address that.
That's held this thing up for a year.
Well, I'm not gonna, okay, here's the deal. We have interstate agreements about accepting restraining orders in another state. I'm just trying to advance this thing.
I understand.
Okay,
completely.
and let me tell you, I don't see how these children are endangered. You're not to have any weapons on you, you're not to have a pocket knife, you're not to have any weapon of any kind on or around you. You know, now, if your parents are not comfortable with this, you need to tell somebody they're not. And then will find someplace, but I thought it would be for your children's purpose, it's someplace where they're comfortable and you don't have to take them to a therapeutic institutional situation to make them go there to people that they don't even know, the therapist or anybody else.
Well, and I mean, the concern was that this therapist said she couldn't even make a recommendation, so that's why we were hoping
Okay,
for.
here, you really want, you know,
Well, and that's fine.
let
I'm
me
not-
tell you what, I can understand why this has made no progress because y'all keep moving the goal. You keep moving the goalpost on this thing. That's what you're doing. Nobody said anything about therapist or this or that when I asked if there was a place, and you said there was a place and there were the parents. Now you're talking about the therapist being there and all this sort of stuff. That might be what's necessary, but I was just trying to move it forward.
And
Go ahead, what do
I
you
have a
have?
question, Your Honor. And
Would y'all move that stuff away from the microphone and get behind them
Yeah,
so I
her
can.
parents are very respected people. They're good people and there's no issue there. And by the way, do they live in Wayne County or Clinton? Pardon? Okay. What's their address?
59 Hess Road.
Castle?
Castle.
Okay, all right.
You know, again, I'm
And-
just not sure that she
and-
understood
and
the
I wasn't
question
done.
that was being
So,
asked of her.
My question, Your Honor, is who can be there? I don't know. if it's
Okay, here's the
appropriate for her
thing
to be
about
there
it.
or-
It appears to me that they're not willing to do that.
Well, they say they are.
Well, are you willing to do that or not?
I don't think she is. I think there's two issues I would like to bring up. to
I'm
the
talking
council.
about this lady here, the mother's not willing to it.
Are you agreeable to that?
I misunderstood.
Okay, so I don't think she's agreeable. Our two issues are the court order for them to go to this licensed clinical social worker. The licensed clinical social worker says she's not able to make the assessment that we wanted, the recommendations about timeshare custody. I would ask for them to go to a psychologist to do that. And for him also, this therapist also recommended for him to do something for his sobriety. So we would ask for that to occur. And if we're not inclined to send them to a psychologist, we would ask for the visits to occur in a therapeutic
Okay,
setting.
look. You're asking me to go into a mist. You keep on talking about this psychologist, that psychologist, all this sort of stuff. I've asked you to go out and call some people, and now you're talking about a completely different parameter of this thing.
No,
Now, I'm getting frustrated.
and I'm really not trying to frustrate. We're talking
No,
about
you're trying
different
to
things.
prevail, and I'm getting frustrated. Now, the thing about it is, I don't uphold anything that this man did right here. It's a terrible thing. But at some juncture, he's got a right to have some visitation.
And we're looking at different issues. We called for the batter's intervention program. I'm concerned though about these children. They haven't seen him since they were infants. His domestic violence, he hasn't had any domestic violence against her in 7 years, but he broke his other girlfriend's jaw 2 years ago. So I mean, it's an ongoing, there's a danger to those kids. I'm concerned about those children.
I move that be stricken. That's no.
Well,
That's incorrect.
I'm concerned for these children. I
Do you have any
wouldn't,
proof of that allegation?
we do have a protection order. I can-
No, about from the girlfriend.
I don't have the girlfriend present. We have the criminal. We have
Your
the-
Honor, we look at the case number on this. We've been trying to get something done since 2020 on this. And you see what we've been running into, and I don't uphold what he did, and he doesn't uphold what he did. But the court understands it's time to try to get this man something, and I know you're trying to, and we'll cooperate to whatever the court says.
And since I've been in the case, we've asked for the same things over and over. We either want there to be a custodial evaluation by Dr. Evans and Dr. Feinberg. She would divide that cost. And I
Where
know
are they
that
located?
they are in Lexington, so I know that's. would
How
be-
much is it gonna be?
Those are, I mean, it could be roughly $2,500 to $5,000. That would be expensive. We do understand that. So we were trying to find different things. That's why we hope the licensed clinical social worker would make a recommendation. She
No,
says
they're
she's not going
Nobody's
to.
gonna make a recommendation because they don't want the liability.
Yeah, so she did recommend the batter's intervention. We found where he could do that and something to maintain his sobriety. I mean, we thought outpatient therapy, but we still don't have anyone that's looked at how this is going to affect these children.
Okay, well, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna order that intervention as far as the visitation. We could get that more quickly. And I'm not gonna order him to do any batterers thing or any of the other things right now. Let's see what this report says. Okay?
I don't know if I'm following. You're not gonna order him to do better?
I'm a little confused. What report are you?
The Lexington people that are gonna talk
Oh, go
about
do
the
the
visitation.
custodial
We're gonna go up there and
evaluation.
let them do an evaluation. They can do that more quickly.
Okay.
Okay, as far as the impact on the children are concerned. He's gone through this anger management and stuff. That's gonna satisfy me with that stuff, okay? Now, if you've got anything that has happened since he did the anger management thing that thinks that didn't work, then you can bring it up.
So, I mean, I think he just did like a 4-hour class or something. I don't know.
I don't care. That's good for me, okay?
Okay.
You can't have all these I mean, we're interested in the children. Go up there and he'll have to go up and talk to the people up there. She'll have to talk to the people up there. They'll talk to the children. We'll do an evaluation of what impact, a gradual integration of him visiting at her parents' house until we can do more than that. And let them help us do a visitation plan at some juncture. Either that or you need to file a motion to terminate his parental rights. Because if you're not gonna let him ever allow him to visit, or you're gonna keep on doing these things, and I'm not saying she doesn't feel justified in doing it.
They already did that once.
Well, and I think she wanted to give him some sort of a chance. That's why this batter's intervention program was a longer
Well,
term
no,
thing.
here's the thing about it is she's not gonna dictate what he goes through. You know,
Well-
you go up there and see what the people think in Lexington
Mhm.
about what impact it would have on the children and that sort of thing. And I guarantee you, if he ever does anything in Clinton County toward her or the children or anybody, you know, he'll get buried here. You understand what I'm saying? It'll be a bad thing. Because I'm trying to work through it where it's a terrible thing what's happened, and it's just as terrible for children to think their parent doesn't think enough of them to try to fight to visit. That's a terrible thing too. And so, you know, well, if they get to the point where they don't want to see him, they don't want to ever see him again, then they'll need counseling themselves where they need to reestablish. And then you need to be careful on what you say to them also, because you could be scorching them a long time. This violence and this hate and everything needs to stop generationally with what's already happened and not be passed on to these two innocents. These two innocents, and that's what they are. They're innocent. And we need to try to do something. So if y'all get together and send me an order, schedule and note that firm up there,
Mhm.
We could do that. And how do we handle the cost on this, Your Honor?
50-50. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank y'all very much. Now, is there anything else where I don't have to do the Solomon bid on?
Thank you.
Judge, I feel like Mr. Garman is back there speaking with his client. He's came in, Dr. Wilson.